after I retired, really. I did do a little shtick with Five Finger Death Punch as their security manager.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck, man? You just pull these stories out of your ass.
He's the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. But after the 3 tours that I did with them, we were together 24/7. And it's wonderful.
Wait, you did 3 tours with Five Finger Death Punch?
Yeah.
Who else was touring with you guys? Like, who were their openers and stuff?
Shinedown. Yeah, I mean...
Don't steal Emily's thunder.
The American.
I'm sorry. We're gonna bring it back. But
Yeah.
okay.
So, and that was when we first got married. Were we married already? Yeah.
Did that get him laid? He's like, I'm working security for Five Finger Death Punch.
I mean, look
No
at
big
him.
deal.
He's beautiful.
Man, I will tell you that I brought her on tour with me one time, and actually Zoltan. I was just talking to him. He's the owner of Five Finger Death Punch. Great guy, awesome dude. His story is amazing, and how he started Five Finger Death Punch and where he came from, a communist country. He's a BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, black belt. He's a patriot, loves Americans, loves veterans.
Well, if he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, what's he got you for security
He's
for?
He's busy.
Clearly, he's in a band.
Sometimes you just need a big dude who's good with a gun.
But now he's got a security element now that's just as badass. I think, I don't know the guy's name, but he was an army dude and a badass fucking fighter, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for him as well. I can't remember his name, but I want to give him a plug. But he's just as badass. I personally didn't like it for my own well-being.
Well, yeah, you're on the road all the time.
On the road. We were in Europe, and I called her. I was like, give me a fucking plane ticket out of here. I think it was in Austria. It was like, we just fired Ivan. We brought on Tommy Vex at this time. We had Phil from All That Remains. Was it the band All That Remains? All That Remains. He filled in for Ivan on the American tour when Ivan. So I took Ivan to rehab and stuff like that
I heard
as well.
Phil play with Killswitch Engage one time in Corpus. He's fucking awesome.
Nice.
So Phil played in Corpus for Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a wonderful dude. He was a Marine for a hot minute, believe it or not. Not a lot of people know that. He doesn't tell anybody because I don't think he made it through basic training.
Well, it's
Something
only a hot
happened.
minute, so.
Yeah. But I just couldn't do it. Emily was on one of the tours, and she actually went home early because of the things that I had to deal with and things that she saw. And it is a rough life. It really is. And I won't get into details, but I was like, this is not for me.
It's constant.
It's constant. Physically, it's taxing. The hours that you keep, when you eat, when you don't eat, what you put in your body, mentally, what you see, what you don't see. I mean, you're away from a new wife, that is what I was going through. I was just transitioning out of the military, had a business that I was also dealing with.
You basically only up at night.
Yeah. So I was just like, dudes, I'm out. Peace. Helped out Ivan a little bit with taking him places afterwards. He had some addiction issues, and I just told Zoltan the other night that I would love to meet Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch now today, because he was a completely different man than what he used to be, than what I knew him as,
But I feel like most of those guys go through that kind of thing.
One of the coolest stories, I was sitting with Ivan, Nikki Sixx, Motley Crue.
Yeah.
The guitarist from Guns N' Roses, and one other person in the back of a bus. And I'm just sitting there like looking at these people and listening to these stories on our way to the next venue, waiting for people to, we were going to stop and let those dudes out so they can get in their own buses. But I was like, how do I get a picture of this? Nobody's ever going to fucking believe me.
No one will have, yeah. When you're in it, you're like, no one's
But it was night.
This.
So and the back of the bus was lit up. And so, there was a glare off the window, and I was just like looking out this small little window like, oh, look at that. It's a unicorn or whatever. So I took my camera phone and was like taking a picture outside the window, but there's really the glare of these dudes sitting over the reflection.
Yeah.
And I sent it to my wife. I was like, you're never going to believe who I'm sitting in here with and listening to these amazing stories. And they're, talking about addiction issues and things like that. Deep stuff. They weren't partying. They were, It was deep. And I actually enjoyed that. But anyway, I digress. I did some Five Finger Death Punch stuff. And what was I saying before that?